Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the closing bell here at MarketStream.live. My name is Joseph Cusick, and securities are offered by MoneyBlock. And just taking a look at what is going on at the end of the day, well, the markets, they finished extremely strong. As a matter of fact, we see that the Dow Jones closed up about 1.5% at 19,550. The Nasdaq closed up about 1.14% and around 53.94. The S&Ps, they really had some strength towards the end of the day. They closed at 2,241.35, up 1.32%. And then finally, the small caps. The Russell 2000 finished the day at 1362.50, up 1.04%. Now, the action also came on basically slightly higher than average volume. Typically on the New York Stock Exchange, it's a little over a billion shares. Well, we had 1,020,000,000, and we had 1,052,000,000 today. On the Nasdaq, it's typically on average around 1.98 billion. Today we had 2.1. You had advancers outpacing decliners, and you also had new highs outpacing new lows on both the Nasdaq and the New York Stock Exchange. So there was quite a bit of upside. Now, when you take a look at where the relative strength came into the market, it's really diverse. As a matter of fact, we talked about this in the overnight action report, where we saw that Europe was really moving to the upside in the pre-markets. We actually saw that Greece, Turkey, Germany, and Italy were all showing the most relative strength when you look at the ETF markets here in the United States. The Greek ETF, GREK, was up 3.7%. The Turkish ETF, TUR, was up 3.14%. You also saw Germany, EWG, up 2.46%, and you saw Italy, EWI, up at 2.41%. Now, if you want to hear a lot more about that, you can go back and listen to the overnight action from today, and we'll be on at 8:30 Eastern time tomorrow morning. We're going to be covering all that action going into tomorrow's session. Where we also saw some relative strength was in steel. SLX is the ETF that I look at to track steel. It was up 3.11%. Again, looks like infrastructure is on its way. And as you continue to see the strength of what Trump is putting as far as his inner circle, both on his cabinet and other positions, it's pretty impressive. As a matter of fact, Jamie Dimon was just named to this large business committee, and he's a pretty impressive figure to be saying that he wants to be part of this Trump administration. We also saw with the falling of interest rates, U.S. Telecom. Telecomm-IYZ is the ETF that I look at. It was up 2.75%, 2.75%. That's an impressive move in telecom. It's been beat up over the last few sessions. We also saw silver. SLV is the ETF that you can look at to track silver. It was up about 2.5% today. There's been a lot of positive moves in the chip sector. So the catalyst could be chips moving, silver is going to be moving because that can also be utilized as an industrial metal. We also saw uranium and nuclear energy up. NLR is the ETF that I took a look at. It's up around 2.48% today. And again, judging by the action that we saw both in Europe early in the session and today, basically leading up to a meeting tomorrow morning with the with ECB President Mario Draghi. Basically, the bottom line is that if there's any concern that they're going to be tapering their asset purchases from basically the 80 billion euros that they've been doing on a monthly basis, well, the market's not indicating it. It looks like from the action that we saw from Germany, from Italy, as well as Greece and Turkey, right now it positioned like the current program is going to continue and extend or even be maintained at even different levels going in and through 2017. So we'll have to see, and we'll hear more about that tomorrow morning. Stay tuned on Overnight Action Report at 8:30 Eastern Time to learn more about that. Where we did see, though, relative weakness We talked about this all day and over the last few sessions, biotech. After President-elect Trump came out with those statements that he had given in the Time magazine piece about how he was looking to potentially cut pharmaceutical rates, drug rates, the biotechs just got hammered. IBB was down 2.97%. We also saw weakness in the energy area, specifically Nat Gas. UNG was the ticker symbol I look at. It was down about 1.75%. Again, we're taking a look at the inventory numbers. Like with oil, up. Even though with oil, USO's the ETF you can look at, was down about 1.59%. There was a draw from the stockpiles, but really what was notable from the EIA report, the Department of Energy report, was the fact that, yes, there was a draw, which was expected in the crude inventories, but there was a huge build. I wouldn't say huge, but a larger than expected build in both gasoline stocks and also distillate stocks, which also, by the way, did put some pressure not only on oil and USO, but also on the U.S. diesel markets and gas. The U.S. diesel, UHN is where you can look at the diesel, was down about 1.42%. We also saw some weakness in the currency area, specifically not only the U.S. dollar, but we saw the British pound was down. FXB is the ETF I look at. And it was down about 0.4%. And you also saw the Chinese Yuan ETF, CYB, was down about almost 0.4%. Now, what's going to be important with China is that they're going to actually have a trade balance out at 9 p.m. Eastern time tonight. It looks like exports are expected to drop about 7% and imports are expected to decline by about 1 to 2% year over year. That's going to impact China overnight. Again, if you want to keep track of that, join us at 8:30 Eastern time or check out the recording on MarketStream.live. I'm going to be covering that tomorrow morning, and we'll see how that's going to set up tomorrow's action. Some post-earnings gainers. We actually talked about two notable stocks that are moving after hours after announcing earnings, Lululemon and Costco. Lululemon is up 12.4% after they announced they had solid earnings, solid guidance. As a matter of fact, we talked about it at 3:30 Eastern time in Tech Talk. You can go back and watch the recording. The options were actually pricing in the potential for the underlying to move about 10% going into this event. It's actually now going above what the expected move is, so there is a pretty big bounce there to the upside. We also had Costco. They were a little light on revenues. They're down after hours right now about 2.4%. They were pricing in the potential, the options were pricing the potential for Costco to be either up or down about 1.6% going into the earnings announcement. So it did drop more than what the expected move was in the options. So it's very interesting. Tomorrow we will have two notable stocks that will be announcing earnings before the open. We're going to have Sears. Stock went out at $12.12, up 34 cents. That's about a 2.89% pop on the upside. The options are pricing in the potential for Sears to move about $1.76 either up or down into this earnings cycle. The 20-day moving average, which is my trend following average, average, that gives me an idea if it's bullish or bearish, is right now at 12.62. So the stock is below that. Stock's been under some pressure but consolidating. It is above, though, its 50-day moving average. That means that institutions are still interested in this stock, and that's at 11.80. The 200-day moving average is at 13.91, so there's quite a few investors and traders that are in this stock at lower prices than where it's currently trading today based off of that 200-day moving average. Another stock that's notable that's going to be reporting tomorrow before the open is going to be Sienna Corp. It went out at $21.60, up about 60 cents today. That's around a 2.86% move to the upside. The options right now that are expiring tomorrow, pricing in that Sienna could move either up or down about $1.96 going into this event. So there's a pretty decent move being priced in, almost a 9% move. The 20-day moving average is at 21.66, so it's right at where the stock is trading. The 50-day moving average is at 21.09. So this could be an interesting point where if they come out with a good earnings report, institutions could jump in and try to get in on what would be positive news. The 200-day moving average is at 19.76, so there's definitely some price support there over the last 200 days. All right, folks, that's it for the closing bell. I want to thank everybody for being on today. And again, stay tuned tomorrow morning. We're going to have a lot of data out. We're going to see how Europe, how Asia is all trading before we even get the markets open here in the United States. And that's going to impact us. So please stay tuned. Till then, have a great evening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care.